They wanted to have another boy, and then they had me. So long story short, my parents, my grandparents, my great-grandparents, and the whole family on the farm wanted to have another boy. So after having my sister and my brother, my mom stopped her birth control and got pregnant with me. And they were really, really expecting another boy to carry on the family name, to do more farm work on the farm, because they said my brother was not typically strong as a farm boy, and he was pretty smart. They probably be thinking that he couldn't do much farm work and he probably would go to college. And then they had me. Boom, the whole family was disappointed. Yeah, even though my mom said she wasn't and my dad wasn't. And if they weren't disappointed, or if they didn't go with the flow, why did they name me? Why did they nickname me a redundant child, an extra child, an unwanted child in Chinese? Okay, which was very painful and hurtful later on when I started to grasp what it actually meant, and that started later in life. I was like a happy kid, I was a happy kid. I'm not saying that my parents were terrible, they gave me a lot of love, a lot of care, and they gave me a lot of freedom. I guess they were tired because they had me around their 30s, and my brother and sister were 8 and 6 years older than me. So, and also they moved out of the big family, so they didn't have a lot of support in terms of, helping, taking care of me. So I got a lot of freedom, and they did, spoil me in certain ways, including my brother and sister. But I also feel that, in their mind, I'm still like a girl that they didn't plan to have, So anyways, and guess what? I carried on the family name, I have a baby boy. He has a Chinese name, and he uses my family name, and guess what? I also didn't do that farm work they were expecting me to do. All right. I'm not saying this as a revenge, but it's just like after you have your own child, it just started, looking back at certain things about, your identity and your dynamics with your parents, because all of this might influence how you function as a parent. Now when I come back to my parents' place, I feel that I'm an observer. I observe how they interact with each other and how they interact with me. They probably don't realize that. I kind of realize that they kind of treat me different, from how they treat my brother, I don't have more than one kid, so I cannot sit here and judge them. But if I had 2 kids, a boy and a girl, I'm definitely gonna make sure that they feel that they're valued on the same level, that's the fundamental principle as a parent for me, but I also don't have another child. So, but what I'm trying to say is that, there are no perfect parents, but what you do does have an impact on your child's self-awareness, self-value, self-worth, So, about this, about this like a, so about this favoring boys thing, I didn't even realize until later in life, probably after I had kids. I have some comedian friends who talk about the same problem they had with their parents, because their parents were old school. They wanted to have a boy. They didn't have a boy. They had 2 girls, and then she's the second girl. She's not as pretty as the first girl, so she felt that she's like the second choice, And she talked about that a lot in her comedy. And I was like, oh, for real? And now as I get older, I started realizing a lot of things. I think beautiful thing about having a child is that it pushes you to grow up again. You know, we have an inner child, and now we started looking at that inner child and started taking care of that inner child. You know, started looking at that inner child with more compassion. You know, so yeah. With that said, I'm okay with everything. I'm happy that I have a child. I get to relive one more time as a person, as a little person, and I'm glad that I am reflecting on this. So talking to you guys about this is very therapeutic. So, and thank you for your time and the questions you ask and the support you have. See you. Take care.